Welcome back, everybody. So today we got a sneak peek at the next patch, which I think is 1.101 or something. Anyways, that doesn't matter. Be sure to hit that subscribe button because we're getting some crazy things. I mean, really crazy. So let me give you the rundown. We're starting with what's coming to the US. And this really, the first thing is coming to quite a few other nations. It's actually, literally, I'm not joking, beyond visual range missiles, AIM-7 Sparrows for the F4s, at least. We haven't seen them on any other planes, but we can assume they're going to come to other planes. What I can tell you about these missiles, the ones that they had on the F4E that they showed off were AIM-7Es, which are not your grandpa's regular old missile. Actually, it might actually be because they're kind of old. Anyways, they have a 30-kilometer range. Now see, the thing is, if they added some older variants, it would have 10, 15-kilometer range, I think, with some of them. This one, the E variant, has 30-kilometer range. It also has one hell of a payload, but I think the range is the more interesting factor. Now, the other thing is, how do they work? You see, I actually don't know, because they didn't shoot them on stream, and they showed them off slightly on the Russian stream. Still didn't shoot them, just flew the jet around and locked onto some. It was all Russian, so I couldn't really understand what they're saying, because I don't speak Russian. In real life, I'm not entirely sure how AIM-7s work. I've never fired one, but it's possible that it doesn't work as you're expecting. Like, I don't think it's going to be a click and kill button. However, it could heavily change the way Jet Thunder works. Maybe now climbing is going to be completely pointless. In fact, engagements might start right when you take off from the airway. Maybe they're going to have to change the way maps work entirely because 30 kilometers is pretty damn long. Now, the other thing is that they only showed it on the F4, or the F4E to be exact. You could assume it will go to the other variants of the F4. We might get a British alternative to it, which was actually just an AIM-7 with a different nose or something. The F3D could carry them. I'm pretty sure even the Sky Knight could carry some, although I think that was only a certain variant. And Italy's not going to be left out because apparently the 104S could also carry two. But you see, I'm forgetting to name certain nations. Various nations that weren't part of NATO. The communists, so far as we know, don't have any jets that would fire an alternative to an AIM-7, nor do they have any AIM-7s, of course. So are they just SOL? They might be. This might just be the commie stomp patch. But there's the alternative that AIM-7s might just suck, or at least the way Gaijin implements them, they will suck. But like, beyond what I just said there, I can't say anything else because they didn't really show anything else or tell us anything. We don't know what jets we're going to get them. We don't know which nations are even going to get them. Maybe it's going to be only the F4E. Probably not, but we're going to have to wait and see. The last note on this is it could possibly be hinting towards a MiG-23. As far as I know, not many MiG-21s had anything equivalent to the AIM-7, but the MiG-23 might have. That's a damn cool jet. Besides that, the US are getting the P-47D-22, which is a Razorback configuration, which is really neat because people have been asking for that for quite some time now. It's 4.3 and, well, it's a P-47. Will be put to great use in arcade, destroying every plane in my way with 3 P-47s in a lineup. And the US is also getting a ship, the USS Northampton, which is really just an up-armored Portland. Not a whole lot to talk about there. Germany so far is only getting one new thing, the TAM-2C. So I guess it's not even a German tank, but whatever. I didn't see where in the tree it's going to go, but we can all assume it's going to be after the TAM. This vehicle is coming into you at 9.3. Armed with DM-63, so it should be a pretty good overall tank, but also receives a laser warning receiver. Now, they did not show off how the laser warning receiver works, but it's there and it's a modification. We could also assume it to come on other tanks that had laser warning receivers, and that will be a very cool addition to the game. Will definitely make helicopter ATGMing people a bit harder. Now we just need APS and the T-90, and then everyone will be happy. Now they're gonna find a new vehicle to demand. Russia, as you probably already know, is receiving two T-72Bs, the 1989 version and the B3 variant. They also got a few other things, but first about the T-72Bs, they look to be some pretty good tanks. Now both the tanks' base armor value is very similar to the current in-game T-72B. The differences come with the explosive reactive armor. 1989 variant having Contact 5, which gives the tank around 620 to 820 protection against APFSDS overall. However, those are more real-world predictions and not exactly how Gaijin is going to model it in game, so we can't necessarily assume. Now, the 1989 version is going to be folded with the current T-72B, and the tank after that, the T-72B3, will start out with its 2011 configuration, which is rather the same as the 1989. However, it has less weak points. Now, the 2016 version is going to be a modular upgrade for the T-72B3, and this one will have even more explosive reactive armor on it, actually 3 different kinds. You'll have the Contact 5, you'll have relict, and 4 S-24 blocks on the back of the turret, as well as some caged armor around the rear of the tank, just in case. Along with that, the 2016 version has a new gun and a stronger engine, and a few other nifty things that aren't really going to be modeled in-game. Now, for ammunition, there was the possibility that it could have received 3BM-46 and 3BM-42M shells. However, in-game, we actually got to see the entire modulation list, and the highest shell it had was 3BM-42, which is already in-game in the T-80B. And as a final note, the T-72B3, of course, has thermals because it's a modern tank. The battle ratings, of course, the 1989 version was 9.7 and the B3 was 10.7. A quick shout out to Ninja for helping me understand the T-72s. Now, Russia is also getting a CY-6, a 4.7 premium Russian airplane, had two 23mm cannons, I think some other guns. It could carry a good number of rockets. Generally, it looked like a pretty good premium, but not an interesting plane overall. Like, Russia has a lot of single-engine ground attackers. But also in terms of planes, they received another attacker, the Su-7BKL. Now, when they showed this jet, it was kind of boring. Had the same loadouts as the other Su-7. However, I thought it was interesting that they chose the BKL variant. I had been anticipating this variant for some time now. Let's go back a full year. August 28th, 2019. I uploaded a video in which I discussed some leaked information that had been sent to me. Many people, understandably, disbelieved the information I put forward in these leak videos. However, this one came on pretty strong. I mean, really strong. At least that was the main source I was using. I did also show a few other interesting tidbits of information that were less believable, more speculative. But among those was the Su-7BKL. Same variant that they are added to the game this patch. So it makes you really wonder, how did some random dude on Discord perfectly guess the right variant of the vehicle that they're gonna add? Maybe it wasn't a guess. Maybe he wasn't just some dude I knew on Discord. Maybe when I say, trust me, I know a guy, maybe I actually do know a guy. Maybe, just maybe, Simp 1080p needs to sit down and stop saying there's no leaks. Mate, it's come spraying out of your damn building. There's leaks everywhere. It's hard to walk by without getting a shower. Now, the interestingness of these go even further. As it said in the leak that I received, Su-7BKL will receive R3 radar-guided missiles. Now, as you can see in the preview, it did not have radar-guided missiles, did it? Now, my suspect is that this is a very early dev server and there's quite a few things that we weren't shown. Now, on Discord, one of my data miners who happens to speak Russian said in the Russian stream that they said that the R3R for SARH or semi-active radar homing missiles are going to be added. I wonder what jet they're going to be added to. I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to let you guys assume what jet's going to be added to. I will say though, it's really nice to be right. I love that feeling when you're right and that stupid weeb is wrong. Now, what was I saying about the F-14? Anyways, what the Russian Navy is receiving, it was not shown off, but it popped up in the background, the Project 50, a 4.0 destroyer as it looks like, with 3 100mm cannons. Could be interesting, maybe it'll go well with my current naval 4.0 Russia lineup. Following Russia, we have the UK, who so far all we know is receiving one thing, a P-47D-23 So, a Brit Bong P-47. I guess that's okay. The P-47 is kind of becoming the Sherman of the air trees. Did you know if Italy ever used a P-47? Or Sweden? I'm sure they did. Japan is receiving a meme and a half. The Chiha LG, or I assume long gun, is a Chiha with a 120mm naval cannon attached to it, coming in at 1.7, and it has a velocity of 780 meters per second, with a 13-second reload, an HE shell that is base fused, allowing it to penetrate 50 millimeters. So this is like the Chiha shotgun, but a whole lot faster, more crew members, and less armor, if you can believe that. It's gonna be damn fun until an airplane flies by and shoots you, or a spag, but you'll probably be able to yeet people from across the map. This thing is gonna be hilarious. Though the real interesting idea is if this thing is gonna get a base fuse HE round, can other vehicles get base fuse HE rounds? I know the KV-2 could benefit from a lot, as well as the IS-2. In fact, it could benefit from a whole lot because it's about to get an unfortunate slap in the face real soon. We'll get into that in a bit. The other vehicle for Japan you already know about because it had the first dev blog, the Akebono, is unfortunately going to be a premium at 3.3, costing you 2,980 golden eagles. Besides that, they didn't show it off, so I can't really say anything. China is not being left out. They're getting two new things, the Q5 early, which is a 10.0 jet with no guided missiles. It's got rockets and bombs and a good amount of them, and it seems damn fast, but I really gotta wonder how it's going to function at top tier 10.0 now with beyond visual range missiles, and it's got nothing to shoot back, not even heat seekers. We'll have to wait and see. They're also receiving the CM-25, which is an indigenous tow vehicle that looks just like every other tow vehicle, though it has tow 2s. Pretty interesting, but not life-changing. Good addition to the tree. The more interesting fact about this is on the planned tech tree for China, the PTZ-89 came right after that, so we can anticipate it. Maybe not this patch, maybe they don't have it ready in time, but for at least the next patch. Italy happens to be only getting, so far as I'm aware, the Zara heavy cruiser. Coming into you at 5.7 has the thickest belt armor. Besides that, it's just a heavy cruiser, and Navy is not the most exciting game mode. Beautiful ship nonetheless though. Italians really knew how to put a vessel together. Sweden isn't being left out of the fun. They are getting a new B-17BS float plane. It's a B-17 but has floats. Quite silly. I like it a lot. I agree, more float planes. But they are also receiving the Strv-104, which is a Strv-102 with ERA attached to it, as well as given DM-23, coming into you at 8.7. However, oddly enough, when they're driving around, it didn't have a stabilizer. I would assume they would keep the stabilizer when upgrading the tank. Can't have a modern battle tank without a stabilizer, especially if the earlier variant did have a stabilizer. Probably, I hope, was only a work-in-progress bug. And that, my friends, was all the new vehicles, but that's not the end of this show because we still have some new mechanics, some pretty exciting ones that they had announced during these streams. First off was an interesting one. You can now favorite loadouts for planes, which will be useful for those attackers that have a lot of bombs. You can just select the one that you want. I would prefer if you could just make custom loadouts. I think everybody would like that. However, that could lead to some interesting loadouts that are able to dominate much more than what Gaijin anticipates. Imagine like RP-3s and air-to-air missiles on the German Seahawk. However, the next one is much more exciting because it affects everybody. They're adding volume to shells. And no, that does not mean that you're going to base boost your shells into the enemy tank. What it means is the shells are not pixels anymore. The size of the shell matters, and when you're hitting something, for example, if you try to shoot a machine gun port right next to the barrel, the shell might hit the barrel instead because it has volume to it. It's a size. It has dimensions. It's not just a single pixel. We're not shooting lasers anymore, which could change a lot of things if you think about it. How many tanks have weak spots that are smaller than the typical shell that you shoot at them? This could heavily affect a lot of the Russian high caliber shells like the 122s and the 152s. It could do a lot to the game, and they're actually taking quite a slow approach to this. They said that it could be turned on and off multiple times after the patch is live if they happen to run into any bugs, which honestly they probably are going to. But this change I think is going to be the one that people actually feel much more than beyond visual range missiles, because that's only for top tier, and all the new tanks that they add. This one's going to affect every tier, and probably even planes too, because they have shells, calibers. What we could expect to see in an ideal world is that you could no longer slip a shell into someone's turret ring, and also expect your barrel to be damaged a whole lot more when they're shooting for your gun mantlet. People will probably often forget that a 122mm shell is 4 inches wide. The final new mechanic being added is Naval Mines. However, that's really all I can say on it because they didn't show them being used, and when they talked about them it was in Russian. I'm hoping that they're not like just really long lasting depth charges, because that's not how a mine works. Though, if you just scatter them everywhere, like what's stopping you from doing that? Should they explode after a while? It would be pretty fun to sparkle a whole bunch of mines around a cap point and wait for a destroyer to float by. I guess the last thing, there was a penetration analysis for aircraft, which, well, okay. And they didn't show it off, so I can't say anything on it. But that's just about everything that they showed in this sneak peek of, I think it was, once again, 1.101. Commonly after these dev streams, they have the dev server open, so that may be the case, and if so, I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. So anyways, let me end this stream by thanking the greatest people on the planet, the VIP champions of the world, starting with the patrons, CMDR Edward and Sukablet89. Thank you very much. For the $1 YouTube members, we have Luce, Mako, and Raymond Saints. Thank you very much, guys. And for the $5 YouTube members, we have GG Ultra Blue. I like them thick. Matthew Cameron, Lars Henrik, The Royal Red, Peter Klinski, Nico Korkamaki, Mehmet Hazarchi, Joe Blobsky, Tex, Roger Rammer, Grimace, Mighty Peppers, Pointless Gunsneaks, and Waffly Joker 6. A big thank you to all of you. You helped keep the world turning. Literally, you are the power behind gravity. Keep doing what you do because you guys are amazing. If you want to join them and change the world, there should be links in the description for Patreon and the join button for YouTube. Check those out. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I make War Thunder Weekly News every Friday. I make random videos throughout the week, and I like to stream on Saturdays. So be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload anything. Thank you very much for watching once again. I hope you have a fantastic day. In the terms of bonus news, a viewer of mine on Discord informed me that a German T-72 would kinda suck. Still would be cool to see in game.